Okay, congratulations on completing the Mishnah. Let's analyze it with great depth through the lenses of the great sages of the Gemara. Okay, the din of the Mishnah was, quickly recap, that a shomer chinam, an unpaid watchman, from whom an object was stolen or lost, and he decided to pay for it in advance, he gets to keep the kefil if the ganav is found, and he gets to keep the extra payments. And the rule is that Mishnayos don't have any extra words. Everything is precise, exactly how it should be. And when it sounds something like is extra, the Gemara will challenge, well, only to teach us what really the unique teaching of those words are, and how to bring out to us that they were actually not extra. And indeed, that is what this Gemara will set out to do in front of us. And it asks the question. It asks, well, I know the rule for receiving double payments if the unpaid guard pays up front, right? That's the rule. He get when the ganav is found later, then you get to keep the double payment. That's the rule, period. Why do you have to tell me two examples of that rule? That the object was a Keilim, a vessels. The object was vessels you were watching, or it was an animal you were watching. Okay, whatever it is, I'm going to get the double payment. So come with me inside the Gemara. Lama lelemisni. Why does it need to teach us? Why does the Mishnah need to teach us this rule that the shomer chinam gets double payment if he pays forward, if he pays in advance? Behema, with the example of a behema that was deposited. V'lama lelemisni. And why does it need to teach us this rule with Keilim, with the example of Keilim? Do we need really both examples? Gemara, question mark over here. The Gemara answers, indeed, tzrichi. It is needed. You need the example of behema, because if you would only teach the rule with behema, I wouldn't know that the rule applies to Keilim. I need the rule for Keilim, because if you would only teach the rule for Keilim, I would not know that it applies to behema. Let's look inside. The Tana behema, because if you taught the rule that the shomer chinam gets double payment later on, only in the example for behema, Hava Amina, I would have thought. Behema, in the example of a behema, that's when the owner, upon receiving the principal, subconsciously decides later if the double payment is found, he can keep it. Later, if the 4 or 5 times the amount is found, he can keep it. Because you watched my animal, which is such a difficult task to do, you have to bring it into the barn, you have to take it out of the barn, you have to feed it, you have to clean up after it, all of these things, and the guy paid me the money up front. That was when it was stolen, I let him keep that. But I wouldn't know that the owner would give him extra money if it was just watching Keilim. Keilim just put on your shelf and do nothing. So maybe he wouldn't give him that extra money for Keilim. For Behema, he would. Because I would have thought Behema, an example of Behema, who the Maknile, he would give to him, meaning the owner would give to the shomer. Kfela. Kfela here means extra payments, which is referring to the 4 or 5 times the amount. Mishum, because the nafish tircha, it's too much of a bother for the shomer to do it. And since he did it anyways, so therefore I'm going to be extra nice. And when he pays me up front, I'll let him keep the kefil that comes later. What's it too much of a bother? La ayula, to bring it in, la poika, to take it out. Keilim, but vessels, the loy nafish tirchayu, it's not too much of a bother. You just put them on a shelf. Ema, I would have thought that the owner wouldn't give him the extra payments, and the rule wouldn't be the same for the shomer chinam who pays upfront for Keilim. It would only apply to behema, because over there he worked extra hard to guard it. Ema, I would think loy maknele kfela, he wouldn't give him the kfela, the extra payments. That's why you need to teach me Keilim, because I would not know it if you only taught me behema. Behema is special. Thank you very much, and I'll teach the next piece in the next year. I hope you enjoyed. Hatzlacha Rabba.